Day 9 and still thriving, feeling fabulous. Okay, maybe I'm lying just a little bit. I'm hungry, I'm irritated. Just today, I don't know. I felt, I woke up this morning feeling really tired, even though I did not drink or eat meat last night, but we did stay up later for our Cinco de Drinko party, or Cinco or Chado de Mayo, because my friend Chad's birthday. So I stayed up later, but I woke up tired this morning and I was like, ugh. So I just did a stretch session. I didn't run. Plus I ran twice yesterday. So, other than that, I don't know why I was more tired, other than that I just stayed up later than what I had been. The no meat could have an effect because I'm not getting the same amount of protein I was before. I'm still trying to catch up and get that all balanced out correctly to what my body actually needs. So it takes time. I mean, it's only day 9. I'm still rearranging things and trying to put my a good meal plan that works for me along with my crazy workouts. But I do want to mention, somebody had asked about how long I had been in business, because the other day I mentioned having my business and my No Excuses YouTube page, and that I had stated 9 years. Well, my YouTube page came later. So I started my coaching business back in 2007. So I've been having a license and was started off as a personal fitness trainer, and then I got my degree in health and wellness, and then later I got my master's in sport and fitness, and now working on my doctorate. But that was in 2007, so I'd been in business now for going on 14 years. And then my YouTube page came years later, and actually during a project while getting my graduate degree was how I started that page. That's why way back, if you look at some of the old videos, you find a running video. And so I started that page because I had to do it for a class. So I had to do it for homework. So the YouTube page came way later, but I've had the No Excuses name, still kept it, still love it, still carry that LLC, still carry it. I have a 501c3. I have a nonprofit organization. It's not really doing much right now, but I still have that. It's called Fit Families USA. We used to travel to the United States, or different states that I knew people in, and we'd do 1-mile walks and health fairs. So I still carry that as well. But I would stay very busy. Obviously, I'm always out there trying to help people. So, but I just wanted to clarify that little bit of information. Today, I want to talk about the little things that we do that have like a huge effect. So just like with this diet, so they say it takes 28 days to make a habit. The reason why we're doing this for 30 days had nothing to do with the habit forming part of it, as it did. It was 30 days from the end of one vacation to the start of another. So that's for my 30 days. It just happens that, oh yay, maybe after doing this type of a diet and no drinking for 28 days, I can hang on to some of those, the good habits that I'm forming, or the good habits that I'm learning. But back to the little things. So the little things that we do in our day have a big effect later. We've been saying this term in the fitness industry, or maybe you use that scenario in a lot of other aspects of your life. So I did some research today, because that's what I like to do. And so I was looking up that statement about how the small changes to lead to big progress. And there's an actual name for it, and it's called the butterfly effect. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, Butterfly Effect, with Ashton Kutcher. Great movie, watch it. A little weird, you spin back in time a lot and fast forward back in time. Great movie, but so that's really a term. And so it's called the butterfly effect, how small changes lead to big progress. And it says small changes over time can really add up. A concept often used in meteorology known as the butterfly effect can show us how. And says the butterfly effect is all about how small changes in a complex system can equal results that are virtually impossible to predict. What might seem like a very small and insignificant change in one place could result in a large difference somewhere else, or at a larger stage. So relating that to a health and wellness journey, I always tell people it's the little things that you do. You don't have to do all these, like I said the other day. You don't got to go buy an expensive gym membership and a trainer and all this. Start with these little changes. So You can do it by adding and you can do it by cutting out. So let's say I met a lady, she was a pharmacist of all people, would drink 7 Cokes, regular Cokes in a day. She was super busy. She didn't get time to eat much. So the Coke, the sugar in the Coke gave her basically was her energy. And then the caffeine gave her, the stamina to make it through a day. And I said, oh my gosh, but the sugar content, that being such an unhealthy added sugar, I mean, there's like 46 grams of sugar in a Coke. So I was just like blown away. So we started off, obviously I wasn't going to start off by cutting out 7 altogether. That would have just been awful for her. So we said, okay, just start taking 1 a day away. So go down to 6, and gradually, she was weaning herself off, but those are like the small changes. Let's say you're at work and you always take the elevator. Even though it's 1 flight of stairs, you always take the elevator. Well, let's try the stairs today. Simple, small change. At a grocery store, you always want to try to find, you zoom around until you find the closest parking spot. Try to find the furthest one out. Try to find the one next to the guy that's got his car parked sideways because he don't want anybody to touch it. Try to park right next to him. Always try to find a little small change that it doesn't like hurt you, like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so detrimental. Just a small change. If you're already doing a workout routine and you've hit that plateau, then again, make those small changes. Maybe you used to walk the subdivision. Now you want to maybe sprint mailbox, walk a mailbox, sprint a mailbox, walk a mailbox. Maybe you're always used to running on a treadmill. Now try to run on a treadmill on an incline. So again, just making these small changes. If you're lifting weights, go to switch to bands or bands to weights. Again, small changes. When it comes to your eating, if you got to have that sugar, start adding more like fruit into your diet to where it still gives you that sweet satisfaction, but without all the added sugar and just the natural sugar. If you are just a bread lover and you got to have that bread, switch to just a half a slice or switch to a whole wheat or switch from a bagel. A bagel, gosh, these bagels are like, yay, huge. Only eat, 1/2 of a bagel is 1 serving, but 1 entire English muffin is 1 serving. English muffins are my favorite. I love it. I don't know what it is about the bumpy little holy pieces, but I love a good toasted bagel with butter. I can't wait to have some butter on a nice lightly toasted English muffin. So again, small changes make huge results. So back to this article, and this is by Justin Thomas Miller. If anybody's looking, it's justinthomasmiller.com, The Butterfly Effect. I always want to credit the source. He says small changes and a bunch of directions. If you were to roll a ball down a hill, it can go in a multitude of directions based entirely on a small rock that it might hit on the way down. This relates well to our lives because often when dramatic and life-altering events take place, you might agonize over the most basic and minute details that could have changed the circumstances. You ate your veggies as a kid, you probably would like them now. Took care of your shoulder while playing sports as a youth, could have avoided an injury now. Picked up the pace a little on the last lap, you could have had your best mile time. Oh my gosh, that's a huge one. So I used to train a lot of the airmen in the military for their PT, for their test. So that's the only time I really ever yell at my clients because everybody's like, treat me like a Jillian Michaels or, those trainers, yell at me, gotta give it to me. I was like, I'm not that kind, that's not my style. I encourage and I motivate, but not in that manner. Except for on like a race day or on a PT test when you have a time. That's the only time I'm going to tell you, stay focused. Let your heels kick your ass, forward running, move. It's the only time that I really ever yell is when I know that you have that potential in you and you're nervous, you're scared, whatever it is, but I'm just like, just hear my voice and let's get through it. And I've made I helped a lot of people reach and even exceed to where they got 90% on their PT tests and only had to test once a year. So not just me, they did the hard work. I was just their motivator. I was just their cheerleader. So when you're talking about if we would have just went a little bit faster, because I've seen some people where they didn't pass their PT test by a few seconds, and that is devastating. Absolutely. Woke up 5 minutes earlier, you wouldn't have missed the bus. So these are just small changes. And it says small changes in the control freak. I'm a bit of a control freak. Oh, sounds like me. Not in all situations, but in certain circumstances. I like the feeling of knowing what is going on and believing I have the ability to choose what will happen next. We do have that ability. It's one of the reasons I am not particularly fond of drinking alcohol. I just hate the feeling of not being in a normal state of mind, if that makes sense. Absolutely. I was just sharing with the guys last night. I'm like, I love to drink. I love to have a good time, but my mouth will lose control. I talk about everything and anything, and I don't really care. My grandmother always said, you talk too much. And I was like, it's who I am. But when I drink, multiply that. So, but at least I know it. I can admit it. And sitting there now watching everybody else last night being drunk, which everybody was cool. Like everybody had a fun time. I'm not saying that. But now I can see how differently I am when I'm sober to when I've been drinking. It says, I'm sure many of you are the same, but you might like the feeling or the belief that you control your own destiny. But there are some instances where chaotic events happen and that are beyond our control. So you can control the foods you eat. You cannot control the weather. There's control whether or not you exercise today, and there is no control over whether your dog shits on the carpet. So these exactly true. So back to that controlling the food you eat and not controlling the weather. So we had a huge event at work, this big Wines Around the World event, and everyone's like, are you nervous? Because I get up and I speak and, introduce everybody and what the whole event was. And like, are you nervous? And I said, you know what? I don't get nervous about stuff like that. I'm a public speaker, so that doesn't make me nervous. What makes me nervous is if it started to rain. I get nervous over things that I can't control. So here we are in the middle of our event. All of a sudden I hear shoop, like this noise, and it's like a tick, tick, tick. And I was like, oh my gosh, the sprinklers are about to go off. And I was like panic mode for a good 5 seconds. Luckily our CEO was like, no problem. And he went over, luckily the shed to that area was right there for them. And he went over and he shut it off. Luckily, it wouldn't have affected, the sprinklers were on the outer parameter of where we were, but it was enough for me to be, for a control person like I am, to kind of freak out just a smidge. So again, we can control these small changes, or some things in our life we do have control of. So and then there's others that you can't. So back again on the health and wellness journey, I said it the other day, a lot of the diseases or ailments that we have in our lives are because of us. Obesity, because we're overeating. Alcoholism, because we're over drinking. Cirrhosis of liver, alcohol, lung cancer, because we're smoking. We are dying with our own hands. We can control that. We can push ourselves away from the table. We can put that cigarette down. We can put that drink down. Yes, a lot of these they're considered diseases, and you have to seek help to overcome them. But it all stems from us. Like, we have the ability. I have the ability to sit on the couch and binge watch Netflix, or I have the ability to get up and move a little bit. So again, small changes in our life have the largest effect down the road. If you keep making these small changes, and that was one of the things I wanted to get to, making these small changes over the course of the time, you're gonna see the results. So improving by 1% isn't particularly notable. Sometimes isn't even noticeable, but it can be far more meaningful, especially in the long run. The difference a tiny improvement can make over the time is outstanding. Here's how the math works. If you can get 1% better each day for 1 year, you'll end up 37 times better by the time that you're done. Conversely, if you get 1% worse each day for 1 year, you'll decline nearly down to 0. What starts as small win or minor setback accumulates into something much more. So 1% better over the course of a year, you're 37%. Is that not like, whew, mind blowing? And all I ever say is just be a better version of yourself. Like, I'm not trying to tell you to be like anybody else, but we can. I don't want to say you. We can. I'm putting myself in here. We can be better versions of ourselves. So I hope you learned something today. Again, day 9, feeling fine. Oh, I rhyme. I'm gonna make a song. So learn something. Take this. Take it to heart. This was a good topic today. I really enjoy this one. And then I'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye. Love you.